School bullies. That's the topic on Coffee with Alain this morning. Drinking out of a villain mug. There's some bullies and some villains from popular Disney movies there on the mug. Wanted to talk about this topic because I saw a thread on the Nextdoor social app, and that sort of prompted a response on that thread, and it gave me a topic to talk about on today's Coffee with Alain. It fits with a lot of the safety topics that I talk about. It fits with enjoying life safely, because I don't want people being bullied and interrupt their enjoyment of life. We're going to talk a little bit about school bullies, but bullies go the gamut. We have them at work, we have them in the community, we have them all over, whether it's school, elementary, high school, college, jobs, community. We find bullies everywhere. Now, what really got me going with this thread is somebody posted about bullying going on at one of the elementary schools here in Missoula. And then a bunch of people started commenting. Now, some people commented, it's summer, how can there be bullying at schools? It's not the school's fault. Some comments like that. But so many comments were, call the principal, get a hold of the school board, sue the parents, sue the principal, sue the school, get the principal fired, call the media, all sorts of things like this. No one looked at taking personal responsibility and teaching the kids how to effectively deal with bullies. I was the only one that commented in that realm. Everybody else wants to fix the system around the kids rather than equipping the kids to stand strong within the system they find themselves in. And that is the key. Because I'll tell you, bullying has been going on as long as people have been around, and I don't see it quitting anytime soon. And you might fix it in this one little place, but it's going to happen somewhere else. You're much better teaching yourself and then teaching your children how to deal effectively with bullies so they can go on to productive lives. Now, that includes a variety of things. And I used to teach a class at the YMCA for kids, anti-bullying and so forth. First thing we have to look at is being able to ignore stupid nonsense comments, especially on social media. They don't mean anything. And yes, I think it's terrible that kids are killing themselves because of shit they read on social media. We need to teach our children to be stronger, have the self-worth, and to ignore stupid stuff posting online and so forth, and make better choices in that. Then we also learn how to use our voice, our power voice. You stop a bully. Bully's doing something. You stop right there. Leave me alone. And stand up assertively, not aggressively. You teach those differences to deal effectively with that. And then it comes down to sometimes we have to get physical. And I would teach kids physical things when all else fails. And then I would tell the parents, if they use the physical things at school, they're probably going to get in trouble because of these policies the schools have now where they just blame everybody. And said you have to back your kid with doing that. And, I have to talk with the parents to say, yes, you need to back your child if they're being bullied and their words fail and the bully tries to get physical and they smack them up under the chin or kick them in the groin or whatever it is that we learn to do. You're going to back your child for taking those steps. And that's going to help your child develop and be able to deal with things from the very minimal to the violent throughout their lives, not just in that situation. I equate this with the same things when I'm teaching personal safety. There are people out there that expect the laws and law enforcement to keep us safe. Well, the police are not your personal bodyguards, and there are people that break laws. Always have been, always will be. That's why we need to take our safety, personal responsibility for it, and practice safe habits and learn how to deal with things. Whether it's violence, whether it's bullying, we have to have the personal responsibility for it, because we cannot fix the system to be ideal and perfect and keep us safe for all our lives. We have to be able to stand strong with whatever system we find ourselves in, and that's what we need to teach our kids. That is number one. Now, I'm not saying to not get a principal and a school and others involved. They have their place. And we should do what we can to create better environments. But the thing is, we're never going to be able to create the perfect, safe environment for the rest of our lives or our children's lives. It is much better to have the personal responsibility and the skills to handle those environments effectively as we go through life. And that's one of the most important things we can do to teach kids, is to deal with those situations effectively so they can go throughout life and not be a victim. This, it's somebody else has to fix it. That's victim mentality, which we don't want. We want that personal responsibility. I want to say good morning to some people who've been saying hello. Richard's here. Richard said, good morning. When I was a kid, the answer to bullying was meet me at the playground fence. I learned a lot about people in general at that fence. I did too. I mean, that's how my dad taught me to deal with bullies. And being an Air Force kid, we moved. I was in a number of different schools. I remember when I was the new kid at Glenburn, kid messed with me and I slammed him against the chalkboard. I got in trouble for it. That kid never messed with me again. Another person who I actually became good friends with later, Roger, was picking on me. We got into the fight and went tumbling down the stairs. No more picked on. Later, we became friends. You know, you need to be able to stand up to yourself. I moved again. I'm the new kid. And one of the bullies wanted to meet me after school and so forth. And back then we had a teacher that would put boxing gloves on people and let them go at it if they had a beef, you know, at lunch recess. Teacher couldn't do that today, could they? Well, not the bully that wanted to mess with me, but another one of the tough kids wanted to fight somebody, but nobody would get in the ring with him. I'm the new kid. I was like, I will. Hell, it's boxing gloves. You know, what the hell? We put the gloves on and we beat the hell out of each other. We both took some good shots. We both gave some good shots. Nobody really won. Nobody really lost. But then the word got around. The new kid got into the ring with Matt and Bubba, and then the bullies didn't want to mess with me anymore because they knew I'd stand up to them. So I get you, Richard, 100% on that. That's sort of how things were back then. And this whole blame everybody and any violence is wrong and not sticking up to somebody that defends themselves, I think has gone too far that direction. And this, it's the school's fault. The principal, sue the school, sue the principal, sue the parents, and not teaching your kid to stand up. I just can't agree with that. Dixon's here. Dixon said, zero tolerance policies are questionable at best. I agree, because you're teaching your kid that you can't stand up for themselves. And that's why I told parents, if your student stands up for themselves, fights back, stops a bully with physical aggression because it was presented to them and they didn't have a choice, you back them even if the school's policy doesn't. Thad's here, said good morning. Good to see you here, Thad. Appreciate you being here and saying good morning. And Samuel's here. Samuel said, having the skill set to handle it is the best way. The school system and police aren't your personal bodyguards. Respect them, but can't always trust them. Absolutely. I start many of my active shooter response classes with the quote, when seconds count, the police are minutes away. And that is nothing negative against the brave men and women that are serving communities. It's just the nature of the job. You are your own first responder. Whether it's against a bully, an active shooter, a criminal, it doesn't matter. You get into a car accident. Who's there first? You are. You're in the accident. Having a tourniquet and first aid skills to save yourself or others, if you're physically able to do it, if you're not hurt that bad, that's key. We are our own first responders, regardless of what kind of safety, self-defense, bullying issue we're going to encounter. And it's prudent and smart to have the skills and knowledge and training and be equipped to deal with it. We cannot pass that off to someone else. Sue the school. What's that going to do? Is that really going to stop the bullying? No. If you stop one, there's going to be another. And when that one's gone, there's going to be another. You encounter them throughout your entire lives. School, college, work, community. We got to have the tools to deal with them. That is the number one thing we need to do regarding bullying in schools, is equip our kids to deal with it. Then, secondarily, we can try to do things to create an environment that is more safe and doesn't have the bullying. But you're not going to eliminate it. You're not going to eliminate it throughout someone's life. So why not equip them to deal with it? That's what I wanted to share today. Inspired by this thread on one of the social media apps, the Nextdoor app, because it was local. Maybe I'll post this podcast there. Maybe some people will think, hey, he's right. Some of the people, because of the victim mindset, and it's someone else's problem, they have to fix it for me, will bash me. Just like I have been told I should not teach women how to rip the eyeballs out of rapists' faces. I have been told that I should spend my time teaching men not to rape, because rape is a man problem, not a woman problem. And by teaching the woman how to defend herself, I'm blaming the victim, when I should be teaching men and stopping men from raping. The problem I have with that is reading history books as far back as I can go. Men have been doing bad things to women, and I don't see it stopping in my future, sadly. We already have laws that make rape illegal. Anybody that listens to me is probably not a rapist. A rapist is not going to listen to me say don't rape, because it's already against the law. So I'm going to teach that woman how to rip the eyeball out, stomp on it while he looks in horror with his good eye. That's what I want done to rapists. And I want to empower the women to do that. Now, when we get into a different kind of rape, because I know some people are thinking this, the most common type of rape is a date rape and someone you know and so forth. Then we still teach the ladies some skills, what to do in those situations, and not find themselves in the compromised situation. And if they are, things they can do to get out of it. And yes, we should be educating men, especially young college men who might be drinking a lot, that no means no, and some of that. And we might get through to some of them and prevent some of that kind of rape. Yes. And I think we need it all. Just like we need a little bit of everything for bullying. But it starts with the personal responsibility, because that's the only thing we can guarantee and we can control is us. We cannot make everybody else around us do what we want. We can only make sure that we can respond appropriately. And that's the first thing to teach our kids. That's what I had to say about that today. Went a bit long, preached a little bit, but it's an important topic, a topic that I've dealt with for many years, taught classes on it. And when I see people like I did yesterday on that thread, it's like, I got to say something, because they're missing the biggest key element. Go to enjoylifesafely.com. Download one or more of the free guides I have there to help you stay safe, help you build resilience when life knocks you down, help your awareness and self-defense tips. Got all that kind of stuff there for you. You can get the newsletter. Newsletter has tips on staying safe, tips on enjoying life, living with the warrior's edge, defending yourself if you have to, and just being exceptional. So get all of that at enjoylifesafely.com. Be sure to check out the courses that are available there too. And there will be more courses added in the future, but I got a couple of them there already. Stuff just to help you. Make it a tremendous Thursday, and I'll be back to see you tomorrow.